Hello everyone, I am Crawlers and this is part 3 of my tactical mini-series on the use of tanks in Battlefield 4. Now, I'll start off by saying that yes, I know I'm a little late to the party and frankly, I was never that good of a tank driver, but still. In this part 3 of the mini-series, I will be talking about countermeasures used by tanks and LAVs in Battlefield 4, their specific stats, and the strategies to use them. Now, tanks and LAVs in Battlefield 4 have mostly the same countermeasures they did in Battlefield 3, with the exception of maybe active protection, but these things now function a little differently, and before you say that some things were horribly nerfed from the Battlefield 3 days, I will point out the obvious, that this is Battlefield 4, and as such it is a whole different animal than Battlefield 3. So, as I was saying, tanks and LAVs in Battlefield 4 have the IR smoke, the regular smoke screen, the fire extinguisher, and active protection as their countermeasures. Now, let me go over the particular stats of each countermeasure, but before I do, actually I want to go over the basic health stats for the tank and LAV. Both tanks and LAVs in Battlefield 4 have 1,000 health points, and their disabled threshold is 10%, or 100 health points. Their light critical hit threshold is 29% and over damage, and their heavy critical hit threshold is 39% and over damage. Now, before I continue, I just want to clarify real quick for you that a light and a heavy critical hit means in Battlefield 4 that vehicles that get punched with a single hit that is over a certain amount of damage percentage will either get slowed down severely for a few seconds or get completely immobile for a few seconds. Now, this is the important part. In order to get the critical light or the heavy critical hit on a vehicle like a tank, only one hit must exceed a certain amount of damage. So it can't be 2 shots or more in a row. So this is why you never see a critical hit from an attack jet cannon, for example, because every shot does so little damage to the tank. They might stack up over time and completely drain your health and kill you, but they will not cause a critical hit before they do. So, to repeat myself, in order to score a light critical hit, a single shot or explosive must do 29% or more damage to a tank or an LAV. This will slow the vehicle down to a crawl and make it nearly impossible to maneuver for 10 seconds. A heavy critical hit, on the other hand, is a single shot or explosion that does 39% or more damage to a tank or an LAV, and it will leave the vehicle completely immobile for 10 seconds. Now you must remember these numbers because I will come back to them in a couple of minutes. Oh, by the way, the health regeneration delay for both the LAVs, IFVs, and tanks is 14 seconds, which of course is a little bit faster if you equip the maintenance upgrade, but I'm not gonna talk about that right now. Right now, let's cover the IR smoke and its stats. The IR smoke instantly breaks active missile locks and spoofs missiles that are already in flight. It has a very good area of coverage, namely 20-meter radius, and remains effective for 7.5 seconds. The ugly side of the IR smoke screen is that it takes a nail-biting 17.5 seconds to reload and will not spoof wire-guided or dumbfire rockets like the RPG. The second countermeasure on the list is the smoke screen. This is also an interesting, if mostly overlooked, countermeasure for tanks and LAVs. While the smoke screen provides a visual problem for anyone aiming at the vehicle, it will also disrupt rockets and missiles that rely on angle modifiers. See my Battlefield 4 All Launchers Explained tutorial, which I will link to the back of this video. So, any rocket, no matter what angle it hits at, will always do the minimum damage as if it hit at a very glancing, shallow angle. But guided missiles are unaffected if they are launched without laser designation, because we all know missiles like the Javelin and the Loa always do the same amount of damage no matter what. Again, shameless plug, please see my rocket and missile tutorial linked to the back of this video or in the description below. The smoke screen only covers you inside a 4-meter radius and has a 7-second uptime, and by the way will reload for 5 seconds. It will also not break active locks. Next, the fire extinguisher. The fire extinguisher is an interesting countermeasure for getting out of tough spots. When deployed, it will take care of any mobility issues you have with your vehicle after suffering any kind of critical hit, and it will make you mobile again and send you on your way. And if you are below the disabled threshold and your vehicle is on fire, it will put out that fire, hence the name fire extinguisher. But contrary to what it says on simtic.com, it can be deployed at any health percentage in a tank's life, provided you are disabled or critically immobilized, and will not restore any health to said tank. Even if you are, let's say, at 4% health and you are on fire, most it will do is take care of that fire and make you mobile again, but you will remain at 4% health until you regenerate it back. It also takes 25 seconds to reload. Now, while reactive armor isn't actually an active countermeasure for tanks and LAVs, it's more of a passive protection thing, but because it's got a few changes since Battlefield 3, I will mention it here real quick. Probably the first thing you will notice when equipping reactive armor on a tank is the lack of an icon on your tank HUD like you had in Battlefield 3. It no longer shows you which sides of the vehicle are protective with reactive armor. Well, this is because unlike Battlefield 3, where reactive armor could be sacrificed for a rocket hit or say be repaired, in Battlefield 4 it is always on and will not run out or be blown away. And you obviously can't repair it either. Another significant change you might have noticed while having reactive armor equipped is that you take significant damage when a rocket strikes you anyway, and it does not take the hit of the rocket and does not absorb it completely. Well, in fact, this isn't a glitch or anything like that, because that's what DICE intended it to be. In fact, what reactive armor does in Battlefield 4 is it increases your light and heavy critical hit threshold that could immobilize you or even stop you completely. So, even with reactive armor equipped, you will still take the full damage of the rocket exploding at your tank or LAV, but it will likely not cause you to lose mobility. That is, it will not cause a critical hit. Now, remember in the beginning of the video, I said, remember these numbers when talking about the light and heavy critical hits? Well, now is the time to put them to work. As I said, tanks and LAVs will suffer a light critical hit when a single shot does over 29% damage. But with reactive armor, that number will go up to 39% or more damage in a single shot. Tanks and LAVs will suffer a heavy critical hit that will completely immobilize you when a single shot does 39% or more damage without reactive armor, and 44% or more damage with reactive armor. Now take a look at my all launchers tutorial video to see how much damage a launcher does to a tank. But I will also mention how much damage each launcher does to an LAV or an IFV in this video. Tables of damages, by the way, courtesy of POC 17. Thank you very much. So what this all means is that for example, a single straw hit to the side of a tank will give it a heavy critical hit without reactive armor, and only a light critical hit with reactive armor. So overall, it's the best upgrade for a tank or an LAV that you could equip. Now, the last countermeasure I will mention is the active protection. The active protection is something new we see in Battlefield 4, and basically it's an active system, as the name implies, that will sense any incoming projectile like a rocket or missile, and before it can hit a tank, it will send out an explosive charge, basically destroying that rocket or missile in flight. Now, because it is an active countermeasure, it requires activation before you expect to be hit, so that the system is active when the rocket does come. When activated, it will kill any incoming projectile within a 5-second window and will flash green both inside and outside the tank to show you that it is active. Obviously, the enemy will also see that it is green. After this, it will reload for 25 seconds, in which time it will flash red inside and outside the tank, and obviously give the enemy a very clear picture of when to fire on the tank. Obviously, you want to time your attacks well, and your defense is even better if you are the tank driver with active protection. So please see part 1 of this tactical tanking tip mini-series for specific strategies and pro tips that I could give you for defense and offense. Oh, and one more thing, the tanks and LAVs equipped with the active protection are very obvious, because you can see this not very subtle electronic box and sensor box on top of the turret to one side. So that's it for this episode's info. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like and share this video as it helps my channel grow. Check out my other videos at the end of this one. And remember, in Soviet Russia, YouTube subscribes you.